Hey guys, welcome back to P&W Repair. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Andy. Today we have the welder out of my service truck that we have to do some diagnosis on, as well as do some routine maintenance that's been neglected for, I don't know, a couple of years. I went to fire it up to do some welding on that bucket repair for the case backhoe. If you haven't seen it, check out the previous video. A frog replacement, shanks, and teeth on a 24-inch case bucket. Well, I went to do some welding on that and quickly figured out that I didn't have spark out of this welder. So came out of the truck, and now we're gonna be forced to do some maintenance as well as figure out why it doesn't have spark. So stick with me and we'll go through that together. So I actually ended up pulling the covers off this and pulling the flywheel off yesterday, and I ended up pulling the magneto off because I kind of figured it was likely going to be a magneto issue and I was going to have to be replacing a magneto. So I got that off. Well, while I was taking that off, I noticed that we had not only the ground wire to kill it, but we had a wire coming from the coil up to this box, along with, on the same lug, another wire going to it. So I stared at that for a minute and had to think what the hell that could even be. So I decided to take that cover off, and lo and behold, this thing has breaker points and a condenser. So that is interesting. But maybe we'll get lucky here, because the little bit of research I did on this particular magneto, the Onin 160D750, I researched it a bit last night. Much like a lot of parts for this engine, or these welders in general, it is unobtainium. I did find one, and it was to the tune of 250 bucks. So if I don't have to spend that 250 bucks to get my welder going again, I'm not going to. We're going to hope that I can possibly clean these points up. Let's get some sandpaper in there, which I might have to take them out. I don't know if this is going to work. But we're going to try. I just need a small enough piece of sandpaper to get in there. And I don't know, what is this? 320 grit, so it's a little coarser than I typically use, but it'll work. Just need to rough up any oxidation on them. Which, I don't know the last time I used this welder. It's been a bit since my last customer job with it. And I don't know the last time I used it for anything of my own. But I think the last customer job had to have been, I don't know, probably 6 months ago. So it's sat out in the back of the truck all winter, not running. And anyone that's familiar with breaker points knows. I mean, you get moisture and crap in there, and yeah, they oxidize, and you lose spark. Weird. The breaker point ignition, that's typically the most likely case. If you lose spark, first thing to check. Corrosion on the points, and even your point gap clearance. which I got as lucky as could be. As soon as I pulled that cover off, points were open. You have to spin the motor around. And I mean, from what I can see, they don't look terrible, but fingers crossed this will get us there. Now that condenser, on the other hand, looks pretty swelled up and not super happy. And I wonder if I have a condenser laying around that will fit this. I may have to look. I'm also going to check that. I did find the spec for the points. It's 20 thou gap. So I got to find some feeler gauges, and we're going to go ahead and check that gap and adjust it if need be. Well, I got a set of feeler gauges. Got my 20 thou gauge in there, and once you know it, they're set perfectly. So we're going to run those like that. Decided I'm going to go ahead and put the magneto back on, as well as the flywheel, just to see if we got spark at this point. I don't really want to, go through with all this maintenance and doing all that if, heaven forbid, there's something wrong with it that I'm not going to be able to get parts for. So we will go ahead and assemble it to the point that will allow us to check for spark. So now the question is, what direction does that thing go? Let's say it has to be the opposite. Got these little spacers. Go behind the mag. So I'll go something like, oops, like that. Come on, thread. Do it. No, it's because you're not. That's the problem. Well, who would have thought those were 7/16 and not 3/8? What do you do? All right. Torqued. So now, how was this routed? You know what? That's backwards. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's got to be backwards because that plug wire does not go into the same spot on that holder. It's got to be flipped like that. Should have told me. believe it would have to go that way anyway. Torqued. All right, that looks better. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Bent my bracket, dummy. Okay, both of them are on. We'll reattach our wire up to the point. Not entirely sure how this was routed. Somewhere through here. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to be taking a lot of this back apart. I may end up doing some painting on it too, just to make her pretty. And of course, I just dropped that nut. And it's a brass nut, so that's cool. Oh, commercial break, huh? I found that nut. Got that wire reattached to the breaker points. So we have the mag back on. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and throw that flywheel back on. We will bolt that into place. Oh crap. Well, it's a good thing that thing needs a new oil in it too, huh? Oh, bath air cleaner's full of dirty oil too. Yeah. Probably wouldn't hurt to take that sandpaper to the magnets on the flywheel while I'm at it. Just clean everything. That's good. Okay. God, I can only imagine trying to pull start this thing. 24 volts for a reason. So, now that we have that all set back up, she should have enough ether in it from when I was messing with it the other day that, you know, it'll probably do something, so I guess let's find out. I do need to tighten that down, actually, for the governor. I don't need the whole cover on there, but I do need that bracket to hold tension on that spring. Okay. Guess what? We need a jumper box. Let me go find them. Let's see what happens, shall we? I don't know if you guys could, but I couldn't see any spark. Let's get you closer. Right there is where you need to be watching. Tell me if it sparks. You ready? Let's try it with that switch off. Make sure I didn't wire that in backwards. I'm gonna go with no. We still don't have a spark. Okay. Okay, so got to searching on Marketplace last night. Lo and behold, I happened to find an entire Lincwelder 225 down in Hornbrook, California. So we currently are southbound going over the Siskiyous right now. So instead of buying that new old stock magneto I found for 250 bucks, I managed to talk this guy down to 150 bucks for the whole machine. So we'll see how it looks when we get there. I'm gonna think it's a go regardless, but should be good. All right, well, I don't know if you can see, we managed to pick up that minty, pretty rough pile of garbage, and we are on our way home. Okay, so we made it back to the house. I went ahead, pulled the flywheel off of our gently used donor machine, and went ahead and pulled that magneto off of this one. So there's a quick look at this fine $150 welder. Now I guess I got all kinds of extra parts if I need them for mine. But took the mag off of that. Already went ahead, put it back on my machine, put the flywheel back on, put the fan shroud back on. We should be ready to fire it up, see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and actually hook up some jumper boxes, because these batteries are pretty well dead. It's also one of the things we're going to be replacing while the machine's out of the truck. Get a couple new batteries for it. Okay, let her rip. Ignition on. eh? Let's try that again, huh? I do have fuel on. We do have fuel.
A little bit of choke, maybe? Like a top. Totally worth the $150. I just saved $100 and got a parts machine. You win some, you lose some. Looks like I came out on top on this go. We're back in business. But like I said, before I get too crazy and throw it back in the truck, I am going to do a bit of work to this that's been neglected. But she runs again. I'll catch you guys on the next one.